Hi, I'm Travis Monson with Once Upon a Board Game. Today I want to teach you how to play a great little card game called Duck and Cover. Now this plays from 2 to 7 players. The games take about 20 minutes. And this is a really quick and easy game that we've had a lot of fun with in bigger group, party type settings. It's really easy for adults, for kids, for everyone. It's really simple. Let me show you how it plays. Okay, as I said, I'm going to be teaching how to play the game Duck and Cover. Now, as you can see, this is just a small box card game, and here's what you get in the box. So obviously there's some instructions and a score pad, and then there's just a bunch of cards. So there's basically two types of cards. There's this draw deck. I think they just call it a draw deck of captain's cards. And this is a deck of 26 cards. There's 2 each of the numbers 1 through 12, okay? So that makes up 24 of the cards. But then there's also 2 special cards. There's this card that represents the maximum, or in other words, your highest value card. And this one that represents a repeat, basically repeat the last card that was just drawn. So there's these 2 special cards, and then 1 through 12 twice each. So that's the draw deck. And then there's just 7 decks of duck cards for the individual players. And as you can see, they're different colors. And it's really cute because each deck has different artwork. It's really, really cute. There's a lot of really great artwork on the cards in this game. But each player's deck of duck cards is just the numbers 1 through 12, okay? Right, but anyway, there's the 7 decks of player cards. Each person gets their own deck. And then there's the draw cards, and that's all you need, right? So let me show you how you set it up. Okay, this is how you set up the game, okay? Everybody's going to take their deck of 12 duck cards. They're going to shuffle it all up, shuffle it however you best see fit. And then they're going to take those 12 cards and lay it out in a 4x3 grid in front of them like this, okay? So everybody will be doing that at the same time. Somebody will also take the draw pile, the draw deck, and they'll shuffle that up and set it aside. Once that's done, you're ready to play, okay? This game is played over 3 rounds, okay? At the end of each round, you're going to record your score. There's a little score sheet. You can record your score at the end of the 3 rounds. At the end of the game, so after 3 rounds, you add up the scores, and this is a golf-style game in that the lowest score wins. So after 3 rounds, low score wins. So if you remember, the little splash in the lower right corner is the points the cards are worth. So obviously, a 0.1 is a lot better than a 5.12, right, when you want to have a low score. Okay, so how does a round end? How do you play? Well, a round is going to end in one of 2 ways. So first of all, so what's going to happen is you choose somebody to be the captain. The captain is just basically the person flipping over the cards. It doesn't really matter who that is because everybody plays simultaneously. With every card that's drawn, everybody plays at the same time. Okay, so the captain will flip over a card and announce it. Everybody then has an option to play that card. Okay, you can do either a duck or a cover option. Imagine that, hence the name of the game, right? So I'll talk about those options in a second. But if you cannot do one of those options, if you can't duck or cover because you don't have that card visible anymore, I'll explain how that happens in a second. But if you can't play the card, you say quack, okay? So if everybody at the table quacks, the card that was drawn gets set aside in a special discard pile, okay? When a certain number of cards get added to the discard pile, that's one way to end the game. What it is the number of cards in the discard pile plus the number of players. There's a little table to remind you that. But when that equals 11, that ends the round. Okay, so if I'm playing a 2-player game with me and Allie, when 9 cards in the discard pile plus 2 players, that's 11. So when 9 cards are there, that's going to end the round. Of course, if you have the full 7 players, it just takes 4 cards in the discard pile to end the round. Okay, so again, that's one way to end the round. When everybody quacks because nobody can play the card, it gets set aside, and that certain number of cards ends the round. Record your score, shuffle it all up, lay it out, play another round. Okay, 3 times, lowest score wins. The other way to end the round is if somebody manages to get down to just 1 visible card. Okay, and how does that work? Well, because the options for your turn, if you can play the card, you can either duck or cover, like I said. Okay, let's talk about the cover option. Everybody has to play the card that was drawn, okay, unless you quack because you don't have that card. So to cover, you pick up the card and you can cover a card that is orthogonally adjacent, so perpendicularly adjacent, up, down, left, right. You cannot cover diagonally. That's not allowed, okay? So with a 9, I could pick it up and I could cover the 8, for instance. I could do that, okay? And again, that's not bad, right? I'm covering up another 3-point card. Sure, it's maybe better than covering up the 0 or the 2-point card. So again, that's the cover option, okay? For instance, if we do again and we say 11, I could say, oh, 11. Maybe I'll cover up this 5. I could do something like that, right? It is important to note you're creating stacks of cards. So if a card gets drawn again, because there are 2 of every number in the deck here. If a card gets drawn again, you pick up the whole stack. You always pick up the whole stack, not just the top card. That's why later on, maybe if the 8 got drawn, so maybe the next card was an 8, I look, I say, oh, I don't have an 8 anymore because I covered it, right? That's when I would say quack, right? And again, if everybody quacks, that's when you set the card aside, right? One step closer to ending the round, okay? So that's the cover option. Let's talk about the duck option, okay? So let's say maybe my board looked like this. Maybe after doing some covers, maybe I'm sitting in a circumstance like this, okay? All right, so to cover, you just pick it up and cover it with something right next to it. But to duck, let's look at the next card here, an 8. Well, I talked about that. I would say quack, okay? Let's get another card that actually works, a 10. This is perfect, right? So with a 10, I could cover a card next to it, okay? But that's a 2-point card. I don't want to necessarily, cover up a better card with a worse card. So when you duck, you pick up the card and you can put it wherever you want, okay? As long as it ends up adjacent to another card. You could go even outside of that starting 4x3 footprint, okay? I could put a card up here, hoping to maybe cover it with the 1. Maybe I could put it down here, hoping that either the 11 or the 6 can cover it, okay? So cover, just simply pick it up and put it on top of the card next to it. Duck, you pick it up and you put it wherever you want next to another card. So maybe I will. I'll put it right there, okay? And so that's what happens. And again, you keep going. If you can't play the card, you quack, and if everybody quacks, you set it aside, okay? Otherwise, you cover or you duck, just like I said, okay? And so with 4, I would say quack. So if everybody quacked, that would get set aside. We're one step closer to ending the round, okay? Then you go again, a 3, I would quack. Let's theoretically say everybody quacked. That happens again, okay? There are 2 special cards, okay? These are the 2 special cards, okay? Let's talk about this one. When this one gets drawn, that is effectively a repeat the last card that was just drawn. So if the last card that was drawn was a 10, and then the very next one is this, I can play the 10 card again. Maybe I want to cover up that 11 now, okay? There is one special case that it says, if at the very start of the round, if the very first card drawn is the repeat card, since there's nothing to repeat, that immediately gets set aside in that special discard pile to end the round, okay? So this could be a great card, or it could be bad if it's the very first one to come. The other special card is this one. Okay, when this one gets drawn, what that means is everybody at the table, they see what's your current highest visible card. So right now, my highest card is the 10. So I treat this card as if it was a 10 that was drawn. So I can't cover anything because there's nothing next to it. So I would have to duck. Maybe I'd put it up here so that I can maybe cover it with the 1 or the 7. Okay, so again, repeat or your highest card that's visible. And you keep going like that. So flip over a card, either play it with a duck or a cover option, or you quack. If everybody quacks, it gets set aside. When a certain number of cards get set aside, that ends the round. Or if somebody manages to cover down to where they just have 1 visible stack, that also ends the round, okay? Now let's talk about scoring. Okay, so to talk about scoring, let's talk about, how the round might end, okay? So let's say after several turns, this is where we're sitting. I've got these two stacks left, Allie's got these 3 stacks. Then the next card that we draw is this one, which means your current highest card. So I'm thinking, yes, that's wonderful. That's what I was hoping for. I take my 12, which is my highest card, and I cover the 1 next to it. I'm down to 1 single stack of cards, so the round is going to end. On Allie's turn, she's got these 3 cards visible. Her current highest card is the 7. So she says, okay, you know what? I will cover the 4 because that's going to get rid of a couple of points against me. So she'll do that. The round now is over because I have only 1 card left. Okay. Again, the round also could end if there was a certain number of cards here. So in a 2-player game, 9 cards here. Now it's time to score. So when you have multiple cards visible in front of you, like Allie's got 2 cards visible, your score is the sum total of the splashes. So Allie would say 0 plus 3. She would record 3 points for her score. However, if you manage to get down to just 1 visible stack of cards, your score is negative. In other words, you're going to deduct those points from your score. So in a golf style game, having a negative score is great, right? So in this case, I would get negative 5 points. So you could end the game with a negative score if you play really well and you just keep getting down to just one stack at the end of each round. So the 12 could be the worst card in the deck with 5 points against you, or it could be the best card in the deck with 5 points that you deduct from your score, right? So in this case, if the round ends like this, I would have a negative 5 score to Allie's 3-point score. And that's how it works. You would record that score. Then again, after 3 rounds, the lowest score wins. So maybe I'll set it up and I'll play through 1 round just to show you how it might work all together. Okay, I've got this all set up for a two-player game. We'll say it's going to be me against Allie. I would just maybe want to play through a round to show you how it all comes together. Okay? And again, in the two-player game, it would be 9. 2 plus 9 would be that 11. The number of players plus the cards in the discard to trigger the end of the round. So either 9 cards or one person with just with one stack. So let's go. All right, first card is a 2. I will say, you know what? I will just cover the 6. Allie says she will cover the 12. Next card, a 3. Allie's going to cover the 5. I'll cover the 7. And next, a 3 again. Allie's going to cover that 4. I'm going to cover the 4. Allie, she'll cover the 8. Okay, then we have a 12. Okay, I will cover the 9. Allie says quack. Right, she already covered it. 6. Allie's going to cover that 9. I say quack. 11. I'll cover the 10. Allie will also cover the 10. Then 11 again. Allie, she doesn't necessarily want to cover a 2-pointer, so she'll put this up here maybe. Okay, so she'll do that duck move, and with an 11, I will cover this. I'm going to try and get that 12 all by itself. 5. Allie says quack. I say I can cover that. 7. Allie will, sure, she'll do that. And I say quack. Okay. 8. Quack, quack. Okay, there's our first card set aside. 12 again. I will do that. And Allie says quack. And we say 1. Allie will cover that. And I say quack. 6. Allie will cover that 11. And I say quack. Repeat. 6 again. Allie, sure, she'll cover that 3. I say quack. 8. I say quack. Allie says quack. Of course, there's already the 8 there. 4. Quack. Quack. Ooh, your highest card. For me, that's a 12. Allie's highest card is a 6. She will put it down here. 7. Quack. Quack. Okay, that's 4. Almost halfway there. 9. Quack. Quack. Oof, we're past halfway there now. 9 again. Shoot. We both quack. 4. Quack. Quack. See, the 4's already there. Oh, yikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more ends the round. Ooh, I really got to get... I have the 11 and the 12 showing. Ooh, maybe this was dumb. 10. Quack, quack. Yikes. This is going to end very poorly for me. 5. Quack, quack. Oh, yikes. Wow, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So that's the end of the round. Wow. So it backfired. Like I said, a lot of times I take chances trying to get the 12 all by itself so I can get those -5 points. But now I had 5 plus 4 plus 1. I had 10. Allie only had 3. So I would record that score. So we'll say Travis against Allie. I had 10 to her 3. It's not boding very well. Then we would deal it up and play 2 more rounds, and the lowest score would win. So maybe I'll just show you how the next rounds would end to see who actually wins the game. Well, round 2 just ended. I drew the 9. We both quacked. That was the 9th card. I got close. Once again, I didn't quite get my 12 as a standalone. So I would have 7 points. To Allie's, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So I only had 1 point more than her that time. Maybe if she has a bad last round and I have a good one, maybe I can still pull out the win. Let's see how the last round will turn out. Okay, this third and final round is almost over. The deck ran out. We only had 8 cards, so I had to reshuffle. We both could end it with a 2, or with a 1 she could end it, with a 12 I could end it, or any other card will also end it. And I'm really hoping for a 12. Yes! I can put that there. And then we end the round because I'm down to 1 stack. Unfortunately, Allie's score is only 1. So I didn't stick her with the huge hand that I was hoping she'd get. So she gets 1, but since I have only 1 card or 1 stack visible, I get negative. So I get a -5. So add to my 17, I subtract 5, I end up with 12. And Allie ends up with, 10. It was so close. If I could have stuck with a couple more points, maybe I could have pulled it out. And that's why Allie makes fun of me and gives me a hard time for always trying to get the 12 left alone. I push my luck a little too hard, too much, and I usually lose. But it's a fun game. And that's Duck and Cover. As you can see, it's really easy. You just play until either there's a certain number of cards out or somebody gets down to their last card, and play 3 rounds and the lowest score wins. And usually that's not me, because I always try and push my luck and get that 12 as the last card. Oh well, it's fun when you make it happen, right? Anyway, we've had a lot of fun with it. As you can see, there's not a lot here. You know, it's a very simple, straightforward game, but it's a lot of fun. It's one that we've had a lot of fun with and a lot of success introducing other people to. Hopefully, this teaches you how to play and answers any questions you may have. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. If you have any feedback, please let me know. If you have any comments or if you'd like me to cover a different game, please let me know. If you have a chance, please give me a like and a subscribe. Once again, I'm Travis Amonson with Once Upon a Board Game. Thanks a lot.